Hearthstone and Northern. And if you know me, I'm playing World of Warcraft since vanilla. I didn't play the new expansion, and I have been playing Death Knight. I have been playing Death Knight since pretty much, the Northern. So for me, we finally go into this like, yes, Worgen Death Knight is what I play though. So this is in the beginning there. But anyway, yeah. So I'm huge for that, right? And this whole concept of everyone becoming this darkened rush, everyone becoming a Death Knight, right? Which is a little weird though. So, I mean, obviously I would like to see the Death Knight being a playable character in Hearthstone, but also just like the workload for that, would be a huge workload. So I can see it never happening. Yeah, Microsoft, but I mean, it's an enormous thing, right? To put in a next faction, another race, something like in an occurring strategy at 6. I mean, it's a big difference going from like StarCraft 1. And then they said maybe the Sanaga should be on a race, and they had 4th race. They didn't do it, but they could have done it and talked about it a lot, right? And I mean, that's a big difference there. But then you also can model and rebalance and everything, all the units during that time, right? Like personally, one of the games I'm working on right now, it's a strategy game. We have the units and so on, right? And yeah, we do the same thing there. Like I balance every unit, after all the current units and strategies, synergies, and all that, right? So if I suddenly someone tell me, well, we have to have 7, an 8, or whatever, right? A faction, a race, like put it in as well. Give them 30 units. They can have less units, but you give them the unique units. Then I have to go back and rebalance every order unit. Is that pretty much right to begin with? Not have to, but I mean that's a big thing. So that's I say it's a huge reason why they can't just say, okay, we're gonna have Death Knight, because then I have to think how does that, how does Death Knight affect all the other classes, right? It's a huge thing to do, but they could do it. It's not impossible. Let's look at the first thing because of that. So what they done instead at Blizzard, they have given every hero a new hero power, and they have basically something that it's like Jessica Trueheart, and she was from Northern, right? Kind of right there. So they've given them everyone's getting their like this hero, right? With Rexxar is the only thing we have right now, and it's a Deathstalker Rexxar, and he gets this crafting ability instead. The next card here, he gets a crafting ability, so you can craft 2 beasts together, stitch them together, and then you get a new card that is a combination of those 2 beasts. What I could see looking at the trailer and so on, I do think the new beast has the cost of both of them combined. So if you craft a 2 mana card and a 3 mana card, you have a 5 mana beast card with those 2 beast effects, right? Or non-beast effects. But like if you craft something like, example, I said it was Dirty Rat, right? And then you craft something else, you can Dirty Rat plus something that has another like 7 high main, so you have to double that rat. Then it has huge stats. So it has spawned, too many actually. I got really bored more than once if it dies. So that's probably a bad crafting, probably. But yeah, so you do that thing, right? And I think that was important, I think, though, mainly, when we talk about this Rexxar thing here, is that everyone's gonna get this. They probably are roughly gonna be at some level, and Rexxar also has 2 things here, right? It has Battle Cry, do 2 damage to everyone, and it also has, this, of course, the crafting thing. So I think that, because as I always do, and the titles could be that, I always mainly look at from a arena player, right? I'm a limited player. When I play Magic, I probably only play Magic limited. I go to pre-seeds, I go to drafts. I'm quite good at it, whatever. But yeah, like I'm same other games I played earlier in my life. And Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play tournament wise a lot actually in Pokemon as well. But anyway, of course I have played Magic in tournament wise, but I love limited, right? So as I did last patch, I'm going to go for arena wise. So what does this mean? Well, Rexxar looks freaking good for arena. Hunter actually has pretty bad legendaries. I rank Hunter as one or top 4. Sort is usually the best class to pick with all the new beasts and so on. Maybe with the mage, depends a little. My last Hunter deck went 7, I think. That's okay. My last 5 pattern decks has all been at least 10 or 8, something at least. It's just So I'm almost saying Paladins now, but I don't know. But I won't get too much in this video, but it feels to me that one thing for Paladin, and I said it over all the time on Paladin, is that Spike Ride Steed is so broken. So my last Paladin I get 3 of those. So you play those cards and it's so high value. Hunter are instead super aggressive. So my last Hunter deck I play one this morning, he was picking all the 1-mana cards and I just drop them in the face and shoot them and you go 7 so easily. I think the Hunter strength is still there, is that it's so consistently easy going 7 Hunters. Kind of like all roll for me. You go 7 easily. And if you look at like Paladin, yes, I usually manage to go 10, 11, 12 sometimes, and so on. Crafting a Paladin deck. But I also feel that sometimes I'm trying to craft that like powerful, like mid-range, even control Paladin in Arena, and it just fails right. Like you don't get enough cards, you don't get enough, survivability in the beginning, or whatever, right? And you just cannot make it happen, and you go like 3 or 4 or something, right? And when I play the Hunter, I go like 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, pretty much always, right? So it's very like, I used to get a new booster pack each time I play Hunter, right? So this card then, if you go back to this card again, I mean, it looks pretty good to me. Like the Hunter card, the Hunter effect isn't that strong in Arena, right? It's strong as supposed to be aggro, but it goes away. And if you're behind, it's horrible. So this effect of the craftings is pretty good. But also, I think this effect here, I mean, it's a legendary effect, but it's really, really strong. I mean, it's a Blizzard, right? It's 2 damage to everyone. And that is quite good in Arena. I pretty much can kill like 2-3 minions. Blizzards are very good in Arena. Of course, effect is better, but most of those like, 2 damage to everyone, concentration, and so on. Actually, what I'll say is obviously it's concentration. It's concentration. But that is pretty good. And I think that we haven't seen the other legendaries, but I will assume very high chance that all of them are going to have 1 battle cry each, right? So that could be a very important thing to think about Arena. Because this battle cry here is great. You play it, you probably remove 2 small guys, 36 to coin 35 and so on. You get a really good effect, and that effect is a really good Arena, right? Because you do get like, infinite cards, right? It's a huge effect Arena actually. It's slow, but it's an amazing effect. So, but I think it also is important to the battle cry here will make a lot of sense for Arena, because you will probably kill at least 1 million, probably like 2 or something. So it can give you a lot of, the mental to play it out and so on. It's very important. So you get the dragon has 2 damage everywhere. It's usually enough to fling you back to the board, but it has 4, 8, and so on. But it's kind of like, for less mana, so you actually have mana enough to also do these things. For 8 mana, you can kill everything as a dragon, get no tempo though, but then craft something insanely good. So next turn you can play something like a taunt, really good settlement. So it looks like ridiculously good if you get this Arena for me, this card. It really does. But anyway, let's go on. I just want to mention that I think it's quite interesting, and this card seems to be quite solid as well. It also empowers, I mean, I want to talk about main Arena here, but it does also empowers this thing here with the crafting card. So I think that this card, right? Why can't I ever think? Like, it was here over here. How can I put it over this thing here? Like, why can't I never point? Obviously, I can point this way. Yeah, like this card's over here. Why can I never do that? But anyway, I do think this card is interesting because it might also change up the whole Hunter thing, right? This is extremely like control heavy, like late game, but also mid range, especially late game. Because you can keep doing good cards, for example. Right? Yes, it's random, but like 2 random things together, and I think it's gonna be pretty good every time. At least something. You can easily craft something. I mean, late game, you say, I just want to have a 10 minion, do something big. Okay, I craft this 5 and a 4, get a 9 minion, right? You just want to play something big, right? So, every now and then, yeah, when I have the opening for it, you can do this. And that also makes it really good in Arena because you can get your bombs or anything close to a bomb if you want to. Most of them faster, so I think it's going to actually be really, really good in Arena. So as you survive, it should be amazingly good. And they might change Hunter's playstyle a lot for Structor. So I think that's interesting in doing it because there's one thing to say, oh, we make a Justicar and you get somewhat of a new ability. That's one thing. But here, this ability is insanely strong, right? So it feels like they are, I mean, insane in that sense, that great control thing. So it feels like they're gonna give the heroes very, very strong abilities, right? So this is very interesting. It's very, very interesting. We'll see what do to other ones. I will also assume that some will be useless, especially in arena, some will be really bad. So anyway, so we do have this thing called the final using the word lifesteal. I mean, it's the exact same as life link, right? The magic, you hit something, and the damage you do goes to your life. So if you have something like 4/4 with lifesteal, and you buff it because of 10/10, you get 10 life instead of 4, right? This is very, very simple, right? You know, and I mean, it's uses life link, it's called lifesteal. And so this thing, but I see why they have the keyword now. Not only do they have more minions having it, because there's very few having it in the current game, right? Oh Jesus Christ, how many is it? It's like 1 or 2 or something. I can't even remember what is that. I'm mind blanking here. But yeah, like they're obviously keyword in this thing because they have this card now here, right? That has it on the spell with it. So that's why they need a keyword. It's a good keyword. I agree with Ben. It's a very great keyword. It's easy to understand. You steal his life, you hit someone. Make complete sense to me. And yeah, like you can put it on spells now. So that's great. And it's interesting card Spirit Dash. I mean, it's a good in arena. 1 damage to everyone. I mean, it's a better Arcane Explosion. And that card is horrible in arena. Just too little. And I will say it probably isn't that good in arena because the thing is that Arcane Explosion isn't that good, and Mage has a better use for it, right? Because Mage can do 1 to everyone and then shoot another one. So 2 to 1 for 4 mana. Not the best play, but you can do it at least. And then maybe. But this for Priest is just like, oh, I do 1 to everyone, then I heal myself, right? I mean, obviously you get a lot of life points because you can hit like 3-4 minions, hit yourself for say mana with a mage, so you get a lot of life points, but it's hard to finish them off, right? A mage can at least for having the extra mana, or maybe the next turn, a mage can shoot something and shoot them again, right, and so on. So they have that ability to do 1 and then +1 and +1 and so on. It's way stronger, right, than hitting yourself. Way stronger. I mean, sure, there's a synergy here because you heal yourself with this card and then you also heal yourself more, so you get a lot of life points. So in that uber best case scenario, you just remove a lot of aggro in arena, right? You kill like 3 minions and you heal yourself. If you want to do that, you get a lot of life points back, like 5-6 life points that turn, completely beating this aggro deck. That being said, though, expected, this card is probably going to be really good, right? Because you can do it, as I mentioned pretty much, and use that against a quite, aggro, face hunter, whatever, right? Those things are having a huge probability score, right? Because you're healing yourself and killing the small guys. So you're gonna gain a lot of life difference. And yeah, spell damage you're worth it. It's like, yeah, it's lifesteal. So yeah. And actually, yeah, pre-spell damage, I mean, I'm sure the way the keyword is spelled out here, if you do 2 damage or 3 damage, whatever, right, you should get that life points. If you actually have spell damage 1, like Blood Mage Taunos, 4 mana, that's reasonable and expected. You do 2 to everyone, you actually get like, a lot of life. A lot of life. And I assume that's a little problem with lifesteal though, but the keyword actually. But I assume even if you kill something over, where I assume like 99% sure on it, but I really pointed out saying that if, for example, you do this on Blood Mage Taunos, he only has 1 life, but you do 2 damage to him, you will for sure get 2 life. But it says lifesteal, so how can you steal more than he has, right? I'm just saying, but you probably get 2 life. Still a good play though, like you play Blood Mage Taunos, play this thing, you kill like 3 minions and him, so you get 8 life, you kill the board, 8 life up, right, get a card. It's a great combo actually. So this could be depending on how the aggro in the meta is constructed, this card will be good or not. If it's a really, really aggro, it's a great card. Really good card. It's also good with like, Pyromancer. Yeah. Do the thing, he hits everything again, it's like 2 damage to everyone, you heal yourself and so on. Heal on him, yeah, so he will die, but you get a lot of life. So, and so on. Yeah, and also of course the minions have high toughness. But in arena, I don't think it's gonna be that good. It's really hard to use as 1 damage. Octopus is really bad in arena. It's usually a very bad card for mage. Just random, this minion is always better pretty much. Even like some random like 3/2 drop minion, there's no effect. It's usually better to have. It's hard to play it and get the value. And I say again, mage absolutely easier can do it, right? You shoot everything, punch 1 thing, right? You can't do it with priest. So I don't think it's a good arena card. This would be horrible actually. Pretty much pretty low end arena card. Anyway, then we have Shallow Grave Digger. This card is like, it has a lot of value. It's a death rattle, gives you a death rattle. But the problem is that they are saying that. Blizzard is like, oh, we have a lot of nice death rattle now. And that means, of course, if you play, especially in Arena, it's like, wow. That means you have the old death rattle cards, that are whatever recurrent in Arena, you know, plus all the new death rattle cards. So the randomization of it is huge, right? The random of this card is going to be gigantic. I don't think you will see play in Constructed actually. You saw that alone because it's going to be super hard to predict what you get. And yes, they're going to be there are good old death rattle cards, you know, Carl, whatever, right? And there are likely going to be a lot of new death rattle cards, like a legendary, they have great effects on like C1's level. But you know, there's going to be pretty good cards for sure. But what will you get here? And her stats are horrible. So 3-1 for 3. That's like ridiculously bad stats. So we direct away and you will get no death rattle card. And that card could be really bad. But I have to say though, they usually are pretty decent death cards. Most of them are pretty okay though. So I guess they have been played like 2. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, but she feels just too random. But I can see it being played in like 2 different teams, right? One is obvious, the Priest Death Rattle deck, if that ever, you know, becomes a good thing. Because she gives you, you know, one card and another card, which means it pretty much works like Stone Shield Defender, which is way worse because Defender is actually a really good card. It's a really good card because you pick legendaries on time paladin. But it's a really, that actually is a card that makes paladin so good. If anything, that and Steed, yeah, like that card is so good. You pick that and you get some people out here all the time. It's a ridiculous card. We have the Shaman as well. Right? And I rank Shaman is one of the best in the real server. Right? It's so good. You get like Alkia and so on. But in this case, so it's not Discover, right? It's random. So it's way worse Torch Feather, which is kind of similar though. 3 mana, get another card. And for the Priest deck, that means you get, of course, 2 get the cards. So for the Priest deck of the deck, and you have probably have like, you know, you have Ensoft and so on, right? You might have the Herald, Valkyrie, you have those things, definitely synergies. With 3 legendaries around that, she probably might be really good. So that deck for sure. She can play that. Is that deck good? Probably not, because getting 40 life is not good enough. So that's the problem, right? That deck is bad because mainly the Quest of War isn't good at all, pretty much. So that's like whatever. But she might still play there. And otherwise, I can see her play in these really aggressive decks. Because, man, that decks are sticky, right? They die, and they bring something like a Harvest Golem, simple, right? In order 2-1 and so on. She isn't the best sticky because you have to play the card you get from her. But the card you get is probably sticky, means that you play her, and she gives you a sticky minion, that's not a sticky effect. So there's a one card that gives you a double sticky effect, but it's delayed because of a lot of mana. But that is probably good though, if you have like some Flame Tongue, you know, Bloodlust deck, those kind of quite popular Bloodlust decks, for example, might play her. But otherwise I can't see her being played. She's way too random. Way too random. And well, I mean, obviously it depends. If they add huge amount of good death rattle cards that are all like really good and like really good. You play this card like, wow, if I can get that legendary death rattle, and I already have one in my deck. If I get 2 of those, it's insta win. I don't know, but like, I don't think it happened. But I'm just saying. So I can say it's like I really want to have the double stickiness. Then they might be good. I don't think it's gonna be good, except it's very like aggressive boof, you know. Or maybe like the Warlock deck, you know, you eat something with that. Petrodaxel, this is a good card to eat, you get another card, you know, this egg thing, you sacrifice the like Saurian. Those kind of like, you know, the wheel deck you keep playing cheap minions, probably good, and what a priest in that. But in Arena, she's probably okay. She dies for Mage and Ruin Rogues on for Mage, and that is horrible, and it's very random. And I have this card, a Paladin card, Shieldblade Champion. Here's the lifesteal, he has some life, he has charge, it's pretty good. Actually has that. I think it's okay. So this card, will you see playing Constructed? Probably not. Like at all. Like it has life still though, and it has charge. So you can play it out, you can buff it and get like life backs. Let's say you have 8 mana, so you get Blessing of Kings on it, right? So you get 7 life. And you kill something, you get 7 life. That actually is pretty strong actually. So there is some potential it might be played in there. Constructed. I doubt it. Maybe the buff deck, you know, prove me wrong. But I don't think so. However, though, Constructed as an Arena, I think it's pretty okay actually, because in Arena, picking something that has charge, I see that as picking a removal. And this is something I've been writing about for a long time in Arena. When I used to do my huge 10 pages blog post about Arena in Hearthstone, I was talking about this a lot sometimes. People used to listen to me at this point, but trust me, like charge is pretty much like having a remover. Right? If you pick a wolf fighter, that is kind of like picking a frostbolt or a shadow bolt is better because that's chill. Costs 1 more mana though, so it's worse. But charge is kind of like a worse version usually when you pay for the removal card. Right? If you pick the Murloc with charge like 2/1. It's 1 less damage than what the bolt does, or 3/2 mana. But it's still okay card because it has the removal effect. Right? That can save you so many games, you can finish games, but usually you can kill off the 7/2, you can kill that 6/3 and so on. You can kill those hard minions. And this guy has charge, it's a 3/2. So it's a very expensive bolt. But what I see this card, I would compare it to the most, is Healing Surge for Shaman. This is very similar to Healing Surge. You will send this card out, you get 3 life instead of 4 life, and you can't pass taunt. So it's worse than Healing Surge. And I'm not a big fan of Healing Surge. So it's not the best card ever. I don't say this is like, oh my god, whatever. But I think it's actually okay for Arena. Because like I say, you can send it out, kill something usually. The Healing Surge can do as well, you get the life back, right? And you can buff it sometimes. You also can send it out, kill like a totem, get 3 life, right? And then you have 3/2 in the field, so you hit something else, you probably get like 6 life, then they trade into it next turn or something. Or it's an empty board, you get a lot of life, so it's pretty interesting. Actually, it might be interesting in some kind of Paladin longevity life deck, because you get a lot of life, you see the wait for it until you have a good situation, like because Christian plays guy out, get 3 life back. He probably can't die that turn, so you get another time, buff him, and get 6 life. It could be really interesting. Usually, if it has charge and life, it's actually interesting because it means you can buff it while send out to get a lot of life back. But I think it mainly take a removal with life back, so it's a Healing Surge. It's like a worse hit. It has a 4/2 would pretty much be Healing Surge, right? But it's a 3/2, so it's worse than Healing Surge. But you can buff it though, so I guess that's a plus for it. So anyway, the last card, a few cards, mainly talking about the whole construct. Prince Caliset, so out the blood of princes, right? And he has a really weird ability. I put him last year because he's really weird. He looks amazing. He looks amazing in one way. Like if it happens to you, you play it on turn 2 probably when he played because you have no other 2 minutes. But he looks really crazy. I guess we can have some more crazy minutes. This card will for sure still play in constructed. I'm not saying it's good, people are gonna try to make it good, but of course the issue with him is that he makes your whole deck becomes 1+1, like Mist, what's it called, Mistcaller? Mistcaller, right, 6 mana, right? Shaman, but he does it for just 2 mana, so you can do it very easily. The problem of course is that he's the only 2 mana minion you can have there. He says that you have no 2 cards, right? Doesn't matter so much, I feel, for removals. There's some frostbolts here and there, they evolve against the shamans. That can also cut out the cost here, but generally, it's like, for example, Paladin, equality. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he says, yeah, he has equality. He's also forcing you to not use those cards. And it's a huge liability, mainly as a meta strategy thing. Because if you play this card on turn 2, okay, it's really, really strong, because it's like smites on everyone the whole game. But I also know you don't have equality because you can't play this card in equality. So that for example, is Paladin. So that's kind of like that's a huge tell actually what they have in their deck then. In some regards though, that is actually a big liability. But mainly this card of course liability. It's only 2 cards. So if you don't draw him in the opening hand pretty much, you can't play anything turn 2, right? You will have to use your hero power. It's a huge tempo lose. Then of course later on you. It's an interesting card. I don't think it should be that good because it's usually a huge liability. It seems crazy. Like I don't know. Like it's a card I guess that if you get in, if you build the deck around him, or at least have it like you don't have 2 minions of course, and so on, and you play him on turn 2, you probably have a huge advantage. But in times you don't do it, I guess just then you have no turn 2. So it's kind of so it's like. That's also why I said Paladin first, because Paladin and Shaman, it's not as bad having to play a totem or a dork at turn 2. But then also you can use the evolve or especially equality, I'll say it's better. So, I mean, compared to, I guess Rogue is fine though, because getting daggers up could be fine enough as well. That's also the better. Like, I don't want to be mage, like, yeah, I shoot you in the face or something, right? That would be way worse. So, it's a very interesting card. It feels like it's super risky, right? If you don't get it, it will do nothing when you play it later on. Right? You play like 26 something, it's too late to get the effect pretty much. Probably. No, not necessarily, but probably. But the problem, of course, is that your turn 2 is wasted pretty much if you don't have it in your hand. And if you have it, it's a huge advantage. So it's a very, like, his high risk, you know, but uses high chance to lose. So I don't know. This is actually probably one of the hardest card ever to determine if it's good or not. Because it really feels like it's like a high risk, high gain, right? But it's interesting. But I'm hard to see it. And obviously, Narina is horrible. I'm talking about it. It's horrible. Like Narina, you need to have those early drops to 2. You need to have, you know, several 2 drops, several 5 drops, 3 drops, 5 drops, several, you know, in the curve. I mean, playing this card, I mean, you have to have this card at 2. And if you don't draw it, you're screwed because in constructed you have removals, so you can remove the cards at turn 3 or 4 or 5 or so. Because you have your situations, you have your fatal later on, you have your meteors, and so on, right? But in Arena you don't usually. So it's like if you play this card in Arena, you're screwed. You will never win. It's horrible. You will how the hell whatever. It's horrible for you. Anyways, I hope there's some clears here. The first card of the Northern expansion. I'm excited about seeing it. I'm especially very excited to see how those heroes are going to turn out, right? How the new heroes are going to turn out. They're going to be very interesting. And also, yeah, for Arena as well, because you have to remember sometimes like Hunter, the new Hunter. Is it King Mosh or is it the Warrior card? Whatever, the dinosaur. That's a great card actually for Arena. But all the other Hunter legendaries are like King Crush isn't that good actually. Like, he's like a late Pirate Blast. It's like you know. It's very expensive and so on, right? And this fit on turn 6 here is actually quite, you know, cheap. That could be a big difference. But especially other classes like rogues, like Van Cleef, you know, when do you want to play Van Cleef like that? So anyway, yeah, see you guys next, I don't know, 26? Next week, but then the next card is revealed. I'll do some more arenas, spend on it, and have a great time until then.